Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
With McValue at McDonald's, get any size pumpkin spice iced coffee for just 99 cents until 11 a.m. And try our pumpkin and cream pie. They're spiced and priced so very nice. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hello, I'm Sarah, and welcome to day 5 of 31 days of Halloween. I've got 3 spooky stories to share today. I'll get straight into them. Are you ready for the first story? This is why I sleep with a hammer next to my bed. This is my first post to this subreddit. I'm surprised I only found it today. I look forward to posting some of the wacky stuff that has happened to me in my life. I'll begin with the story of the girl that followed me home. I'm even getting the shivers just telling this story. You see, my parents loved the fact that I loved to go to summer camp. Mostly, I like to go to summer camp for the ladies. Yeah, 5th grade me dug kissing on the lips. My parents didn't mind. They liked having the house to themselves for up to 8 weeks at a time. Now, you see, in 6th grade, I went for my first time to a camp in New Hampshire. It was awesome, deep in the woods. At least a couple of 100 kids, a huge lake, speedboat, tubing, water skiing, riflery. It was a kid's paradise. But something about being in those woods was weird. Like something was always watching you. The 3rd night I was there was a glorious thunderstorm. It went all night. We city kids were extremely excited about it and really wanted to stay up. But since we'd been up since 6 a.m, essentially doing heavy athletics all day, kids started dropping like flies. Eventually, all the way until our cabin counsellor told us to go to sleep. But guess who couldn't sleep? I wasn't homesick. I was very tired. I was in a top bunk. My head was right next to the window. If I rolled onto my right side, I stared right out into those woods. The woods were always watching you. I always sleep on my side, so I switched between sleeping on my right side, with the covers uncomfortably over my head, and my left where I could breathe. But when I lay on my left side that night, the woods knew I was the only one awake. The door didn't creak. That door was a pain in the butt when we wanted to sneak out to the girls' cabin at night, and I never heard a footstep. But every time that lightning struck, I saw her, standing there, dead centre in the middle of the cabin. At first, she faced away from me, but slowly she turned as each sound of cracking electric fire came down from the sky. This became a pattern. I grew to know that it only happened during thunderstorms, and after 3:30 a.m. She never moved from the centre of the cabin. If I rolled over, I could see her standing right below my window looking up, with a big, wide grin. It wasn't an evil grin. Honestly, if I hadn't been scared about the fact that I was seeing things, I probably would have thought it was one of the campers a year below me pranking me. I would force myself to sleep before 3:30 a.m. every night. And if I couldn't, I wouldn't sleep at all. Putting the covers all the way over your head isn't comfortable at all. One night, 3 weeks into our camping experience, I had an idea. I asked our head counsellor to tell us any scary stories he had experienced while at camp, to all my friends' dismay. But he obliged. He told a couple of obviously fake bogeyman type stories that most definitely had been passed down by other counsellors. But then his affect changed and he turned off the light. This was his story. It was a night much like that night, rain and thunder, and he was on night patrol, making sure little kids don't sneak into each other's cabins to make out with their camp girlfriends or prank each other. It came time for him to check the trail from the girls' side of the camp to the water. When he arrived there, turned off his golf cart and got out, he saw what appeared to be a little girl about a quarter mile from him up the trail. He hadn't noticed, but the rain had stopped. He called out to her, but she didn't respond to him and turned to run down to the lake. Being the good counsellor he was, he knew he had to stop this runaway camper. But by the time he got down to the lake, all he saw were wet sand prints, leading all the way down the dock and disappearing. He went around the whole camp and did a head count, but no one was missing. And when he finally went to bed that night, he was dreading that his girlfriend was coming over. As he fell asleep, he felt someone crawling on his back and breathing on his neck. But when he turned over, no one was there. His girlfriend hadn't arrived yet. When she finally did, he was in shock and told her everything. He explained that this had happened last year and nothing like it ever happened again. Now I was really scared. I couldn't shake off the fact that I wasn't dreaming, and my stupid friends and I decided to go to the girls' cabin that night. Running through the woods, no one would admit how scared we were. My friends hadn't seen her. They were just scared in general. Everywhere I looked, I could see her. I swore she was everywhere. Of course, that was the darkness and my imagination. However, when we arrived at the girls' cabin, and I crawled into bed with my 6th grade honey, the lights turned on, and the door opened, and the screen door shook like it had been blown by a strong wind. I could hear a slight giggle. I don't think she wanted me to have a girlfriend. I think she wanted me out of that bed and back in my cabin where she could watch me. We booked it back to our cabin so fast. We were terrified of being caught by the counsellor and having to miss out on movie night. I almost forgot about the little girl. But like good old New England, the next night the thunder returned, and this time she wasn't just standing there. I watched as with each clap of lightning she took a step towards me. I almost started crying and put the covers over my head. But that's when I heard it too. My bunkmate on the lower bunk. "Dude," he whispered, "can you see that too?" "What? See what?" I asked, hoping he wasn't talking about the same thing. "Dude, the girl," he was almost yelling. That type of yelling whisper. As he said that, it was as if the spell had been broken. I didn't see her again ever at that camp. But I did see her again. He got out of bed, and so did I. We went to the bathroom and sat there on the floor in silence. He said he had seen her one night before, and I said I saw her all the time. He hadn't told anyone because he thought nothing of it, and that people would call him crazy. Isn't it funny, and no one really will believe you if you tell a ghost story? It's like they don't want to admit they are scared. I had a witness now, that I wasn't alone and seeing things. I don't know if he ever saw her again, but she followed me all the way home, all the way across the country. She followed me. One night, my nanny called me inside from my yard. I'd been on my trampoline and playing with my dog too. She started muttering things about La Llorona and El Diablo, and that it wasn't good to play outside late at night. This happened again and again. The little girl's presence eventually faded away as I got older. Maybe she had a crush on me, and as I got older she wasn't into me anymore. She no longer sat at the edge of my bed or giggled into the night. But I do know one thing. Once you let one thing you can see into your house, be prepared for all their friends. And well, I don't know if they were her friends or not, but they are the reason I sleep with a hammer next to my bed. I don't know about you, but getting out of bed in the middle of the night to say, "Get out of my house," either get out or come at me, drains you. I don't think that hammer would ever do anything if I ever needed it, but it sure makes me feel more comfortable. But that little girl, the one that almost crawled into my bed at summer camp, I'm sure she was innocent. I'm positive she wasn't trying to scare me. I wish I had never let her find me. But those are stories for another time, when it's not so windy their voices carry. I don't know how they'll react to being written down, and it's way too stormy to chance writing it alone right now. I have to agree with the writer of this story. I believe that when you do open yourself up to certain entities, they all come through. Because I've noticed when I get really spooked about something, for example, a couple of years ago, when Toby and I were looking into skinwalkers that aren't skinwalkers, but you catch my drift, we kept getting really spooked. And it just felt like we were opened up to it. So whether it was psychological or not, it just felt like we were more in tune, or I felt like I was more in tune with that kind of paranormal thing, if that makes sense. Are you ready for the second story? Think my childhood friends saw a dogman. When I was a kid, my two closest friends just happened to live right next to each other in the eastern countryside of my town. One of them told me he woke up to go to the bathroom or something and said he saw a pair of yellow glowing eyes staring at him. When I stayed the night with him one night, I questioned him about it, and he was so terrified that I brought it up that he tried to go sleep with his mum. I eavesdropped, and he told her he was scared that the yellow eyes would come back. His neighbour, my other friend, was staying the night with me another night, and he told me about this huge black dog that he saw in the back of his pastures where their horses were during the day. He said it was about the size of a horse and on all fours. He really emphasised how large it was, which is the main thing that upset him. Not far from this road, there's a very old graveyard that locals claim is an old Indian graveyard. It has gravestones dating back to the 1800s. I've had 3 very unusual experiences there that tie into some of the dogman folklore I've learned about, like hearing a howl so loud and deep that it reverberated through my friend and I, and both of us took off running towards the car in a fight or flight response. I had a 4th paranormal experience there, but it wasn't dogman related. The town east of Claremore, called Prior Creek, also has a dogman encounter on YouTube. Large predators have very large territories, so I wonder if we have a dogman prowling the area. It would not be impossible, given the amount of farmland, woods and rural expansions of land here. Our nearby city, Tulsa, also has a few published sightings, just been connecting the dots. Interesting that 2 of the writer's friends both had experiences of the dogman. I do wonder if they were all friends together, not just the author's 2 friends, if that makes sense. If all 3 of them were friends together, it kind of sounds like they weren't, for them to be talking about it on separate occasions. Oh, I love a dogman story. Are you ready for the 3rd and final story? Paranormal in Appalachia. Okay, so this is just for my own confirmation. I know what I saw, but I need others to help me if possible. When I was 10, so spring of 1999, my father and I went on a day trout fishing trip to the area of Burgoo, West Virginia. We had fished throughout the day, and as the sun was setting, so about 6:30ish, we started heading home. Well, since this was before GPS was affordable and Google Maps existed, my father managed to take a wrong turn and we ended up going down a mountain road that we likely had no business going down. Well, after about 45 minutes to an hour, my dad realised we were going the wrong way. He managed to find a place to turn around. Now, to explain, on the way down the mountain, I was in the passenger's seat. I only saw the side of the mountain, and the view wasn't anything to write home about. It also got fully dark about 20 minutes into the drive down the mountain, so I couldn't see much beyond the headlights afterwards. On the way back, however, I saw something that I know I saw, but can't otherwise explain. On the way back up the mountain, despite the darkness, I clearly saw what appeared to be a young girl in a nightgown, sitting on a stump. She appeared to be holding a teddy bear or something similar, and had black hair that was down to her mid-back. I clearly saw, after the headlights of the truck had passed her, I could clearly see her in as much detail as a child of 10 could see. She seemed to glow in the night. Her gown clearly white and her hair was dark in coloration. She was holding something in her arms that appeared to be a teddy bear or some sort of stuffed doll. She was about 30 to 40 yards off the mountain road, just sitting and waiting on the stump, her back to me. I, being the young and naive 10-year-old, mentioned what I saw to my father. I wanted him to stop and see if she needed help, but he said we were running low on gas and needed to find a gas station. He promised to tell someone in the gas station what I saw. For reference, I saw her about halfway back up the mountain. As luck would have it, when we got out of the mountain road and back on the main road, there was a gas station. This was when you could fill up your tank and then go in and pay. So my father did just that. Before he went inside to pay, he asked me if I wanted anything. So I obviously said yes, told him what I wanted, and asked him to tell the people in the gas station that I saw the girl. He said he would and ran inside and got me what I asked for and a snack. When he got back in the truck, I asked him again if he told them about the girl, and he told me he did. But I have no way to verify if he did, as I stayed in the truck. We then managed to drive home, late, but we got home. To this day, I don't know exactly what I saw, but I know that I saw a girl in a white nightgown sitting on a stump. I, for a bit, after I got more experience with paranormal events, thought I saw a black-eyed kid. But now I don't think that's what I saw. I've researched the area we were in, and not a lot of information is available outside of public records. No mentions of unexpected or sudden deaths involving children in that specific area before our trip. I was also unable to find any missing children reports for that area that fit the rough description I had. In the early days of the internet, I had managed to remember the rough area we were and tried to research, but information was scant at best. Since then, I have forgotten the exact area we were, but even with current information, I'm still at a loss to find a good explanation for what I saw in that area. I'm appealing to this subreddit for any information about the area that I may have missed or overlooked. Even similar experiences in that area would help me out. There are also no houses in this area, or even signs of old defunct homesteads to my memory. It was just an old mountain road, likely old logging road given the area. My father denies this event, despite my insistence that it happened. I don't know if he forgot or intentionally suppressed it. Any help or insight would be much appreciated. Thank you in advance. This one is a bit creepy, isn't it? What more could you want? Appalachia, a little girl, ghost, possibly a black-eyed child. It's got all the qualities of a good spooky story that I like. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you again tomorrow with Toby. Take care, everyone.
Morning people wake up for peace and quiet. McDonald's breakfast people, we wake up for the sweet rush of getting that warm, delicious breakfast right before it ends.
With McValue at McDonald's, get any size pumpkin spice iced coffee for just 99 cents until 11 a.m. And try our pumpkin and cream pie. They're spiced and priced so very nice. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.